sharing the nature here. Really amazing. Look at this. Well, I wanted to say some things today about I'm a bit confused. I'm confused about this whole thing about men for generations suppressing women and women fighting against, of course they fight against that, but now they want to use the same, more or less the same method, you could say, suppress men. But actually I think if you all stay in our own power, just accept ourselves and each other, I think the world will be so much easier place to be. So what I want to say with that is, at one of my courses, I remember one woman, she told me, one of my self-defense courses, she told me, I thought I was going to be more masculine after this course to get this power. But actually what I discovered was I'm actually more feminine since I found my power. So I think that's really interesting. I think we're not supposed to be somebody else. A woman shouldn't be a man shouldn't be a woman or try to suppress somebody else. We should all just rest in our own power, and when we do that, we actually become who we're supposed to be. And I think that's the really interesting part. So for me, doing Budu, martial art, teaching self-defense is actually about transformation. Transformation into the real core of who we are. It's actually liberating all the concepts from our parents, our grandparents, and their parents, and generations about how we're supposed to be, how men are supposed to be, how women are supposed to be, and just be. So if we are just aware and living moment to moment, I think everybody will win. Because at that place, there's no need for getting acknowledgement or credit for being who you are from somebody else. You're just you. And I know it sounds easy, maybe just like that, but it's a task, right? Because the thing is, we are so conditioned from our generations, but we are right now, I think we are living in one of the most amazing times that we actually are looking into these things, and we want to liberate ourselves from all the burdens of the concepts, ideas, how we're supposed to be, the school system, the governments, and how you're supposed to work, and all this stuff is up in the air, and people are actually trying to find new ways. This whole entrepreneurial way of living, the way we can work from home, the way we are just changing a lot of things. So I think we should just embrace that and be happy that we are actually living in a time where that is possible, and that we actually can become better version of ourselves, in the sense just being you. And being you is not just, okay, I'm me, I cannot change. No, exactly. You have to change. You have to change the concept and ideas of who you are. You have to look at the triggers you have. The triggers is not nobody else's fault, then it's your brain replaying a story from the past because it wanted to keep you safe. But right now, you don't need it anymore. So face the fears. The fears is usually, we are afraid of changing because we are afraid of losing what we know instead of embracing where we can go, right? So I think there's a lot of potential in facing one's fears, and it takes honesty. So we have to be really honest, and men, we have to acknowledge we actually have feelings, right? Because as a man, you have suppressed a lot of things. So acknowledge we have all these feelings inside and let them out, but not as going around and being in a whooshy. That's not what I mean. But just know, if you're angry, you're defending yourself. That's a trigger. What is it? Face it. face that fear, face that you are triggered by, and maybe it's something from your past, your parents, whatever. Or you're afraid of being ridiculed, you're afraid of feeling shame, you're afraid of, I don't know, it can be so many things, right? So you name it, but just face it and embrace it and send it love, because anyway, what connects us all is love, and we all connected anyway in so many ways, right? We can go into quantum physics, but just in general, we all get food from somewhere, or we get water from somewhere. So we connected in so many ways. We don't even need to go there. Everything is energy, but we are all connected in one way or the other. So I just want to say that doing self-protection for me is much more than just learning to protect yourself. It's actually learning to rest in your own power. And by doing that, you're releasing the concept, the ideas, your ego, to become a person that is living in awareness from moment to moment. And when you do that, you're actually making the world a much better place and more safe also, because you are not engaged in things that you don't need to engage in. Okay, so I wish you the best on your journey, and be great.